Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Nameless podcast. Yes, I'm bringing this back, or at least trying to. I originally wanted to stream this on Twitch and then upload it to YouTube, but I decided to just record this one time, see kind of how it turns out, see if, more importantly, if it's doable for me in the slightest, doing it in the way I want to do it. But this is me doing the same stuff in a new way, so new. But yeah, we're just going to try to get this podcast up and going. I have a returning guest on the podcast. Please introduce yourself.
What's up? Most of my friends call me Big Country.
Please start from the start from the beginning. The audio cut out there for you.
Ah, shit. Okay. I said, hello, my name is Trevor. Most of my friends call me Big Country.
Yeah, we do love to call him that because of the cowboy boots, right? Or what was it?
Redneck.
Redneck? Oh, God.
I'm a redneck, yeah. I'm a cowboy, baby.
This was a terrible decision.
Yeah,
now,
you know it.
me and him are recording this podcast on Discord, and a Discord that I use for the channel, so there might be a couple audio issues here and there, because we are doing this from a large distance. If it was in a perfect world, I would have him right next to me and record it there. But this is not a perfect world. But regardless, we're just going to hang out and talk, so sit by and enjoy. So, Trevor, what do you want to talk about today?
I want to talk about one of the kind of movie genres, like subgenre sort of things. It mostly aligns with the horror movie genre. So, the subgenre is werewolf movies.
Werewolf
usually
movies?
It's like, yeah, werewolf movies.
All right. What's your favorite werewolves movies? Just
well, normally it's like I watched a lot of different ones, and usually I kind of critique them. I have my own sort of critique, and there's a guy I follow on TikTok who did a similar thing, but he based it on what he would consider is and is not a werewolf, using different forms of pop culture.
all right.
But yeah, it's actually pretty interesting, and if you watch different werewolf movies, you will completely understand why we have to critique them, because it's just all about
A lot of them are bad.
yeah, that's very true. It's especially like a lot of the older ones, like they're just absolute, pun intended, dog shit.
Hey, buddy, watch the. I'm just kidding. But no, I agree.
It's going on YouTube. I don't care.
All right, fair enough. It's not like I make money from these, but regardless,
Not yet.
no, not yet. That is, we're getting there. But no, I agree. A lot of like werewolf specific movies are terrible, and the only ones that I've ever really liked, truth be told, are probably the ones that are like have a good werewolf to them. If there's not a good werewolf, like in design, CGI, all that, then like I really don't care. It's kind of like a vampire. It's kind of like a vampire movie too, where like if it isn't kind of creepy or scary, I don't care.
Exactly. And werewolf movies have been a big lore on just being absolutely terrifying. Because what's scarier than looking at a fucking 7 to 8 foot tall, half man, half wolf that's just a pure blooded killing machine?
A Karen?
Yeah.
Because that thing's worse.
Yeah, I think I'd rather fight a werewolf than deal with a Karen.
Karens are
I am the manager.
Dude, working in retail, you deal with Karens every single day ever. Then I do not envy anyone who works in retail currently. But anyway, back to
okay.
Go on. What are you saying?
I was gonna say, the first job I had in high school, I worked in a retail store, and I basically sort of technically got fired because an old guy was being a Karen.
Really? Tell me the story. I'm curious to hear this. I've never heard this.
Sorry to stray us off. This is like a little side story, but so I was probably about 17. It was my senior year in high school. I worked at a store that was very similar to Rural King or Tractor Supply. So I worked back in the ag section, and I was going on my lunch break, and then there was one of my coworkers. He was helping this guy in a garden section that was right next to my department and everything. So I was going there to go clock out, eat lunch, and I'm like, I'm tired. I don't really like being there because it's retail and I hate dealing with customers. But
It's
so
not for everyone.
so the coworker stops me and goes, "Hey man, can you help me out with this guy?" And I go, "Yeah, sure." I'm being nice. I look at the guy, and say, "What are you looking for?" He goes, "Well, my hose is kind of messed up, and I'm looking for like a different nozzle." And then like I said, "Oh, what's wrong with your hose?" He's telling me like it's got like this big crack in it, or there's like a hole and it's leaking and it's just not really working. So he's looking for something to kind of patch it up or something like that. And I was being nice. I said, "Well, sir, if I had to recommend anything, I would say we have." I was pointing this out. I go, "We have all these really nice hoses here. You could try out one of them." Basically saying to like, if it's gonna cause you a big problem, you can just buy yourself a new hose here. And then he didn't really ask any other questions or anything like that. He said, "All right." And then I just kind of, said, "All right," thought that was it. I walked off, clocked out, took my lunch break. And then halfway in, I get one of the supervisors around. He wasn't the manager, but he was like, higher up than me. He kind of walks in. He goes, "Hey, you doing anything right now?" I looked at him and go, "Well, I'm on my lunch break right now." He goes, "Okay, when you get done, grab your stuff. You can go home early." I go, "Something wrong?" He says, "Well, none yet. We'll talk to the manager once he gets back." I go, "Okay." So, I finished my lunch, grabbed my shit, went home, and then about a couple days later, I went back in for my shift, talked to the manager at the end of it. He told me the whole story of like this guy was like complaining about me because I didn't help him and I was being rude. I literally
It's
said I was about ready to look this manager dead in the eye, like, "Are you fucking kidding me?" And he goes,
so all you did was recommend like him getting a new hose that you guys had available.
"Yeah, at a pretty decent price. It's like, it's a good working hose and everything like that." And he said, my manager said, "Well, he's been a loyal customer for us for quite a while, and when you work in retail, customer's always right." I'm like, "Well, this customer's a fucking dick." So he said, he said, "Now, if this were any other instance, I would fire you, but since you already put in your 2 weeks, we're just gonna bump that up early." I'm like, "Fine, whatever." I turned in my name tag, turned in my little walkie-talkie, both my shirts, and I walked the fuck out.
I God, I'm glad I'm not the only one who's dealt with like situations like that. And I actually follow retail talk because like there's this one manager guy I always follow, and he always makes like TikToks kind of like talking what it's like to be a retail manager. And I don't envy people that are retail managers. In fact, when I quit my recent retail job, like I was very kind with the person because I thought like the policy that she was saying I had to do was kind of stupid. But like, and I was just like, all right, well, if that's the case, then I have to quit. And then she goes like, well, it's not my fault. And I just stopped her. I was like, whoa, 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 I'm not blaming you. You're just doing your job as a manager. Like you're not the issue here. Like, I just think this policy is really dumb. So instead of going into work the next day mad and being a bad worker indefinitely, like I'm just gonna go. Like I'm gonna waste your time at this point. So it's just I don't know. And I've worked at fast food for a long time when I was in high school. So, and you deal with the worst kind of people there, like the worst kind of people. Because if something's wrong with somebody's food, it's like hell on earth has been laid over in front of them, and nothing is more important to them than the fact that you forgot to take off the pickles on their sandwich. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I just started my first ever food job at the pizza place here in Muncie.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
like, how was the first day so far? You said it was your first day.
Yeah, surprisingly easy. Not gonna lie. Granted, I messed up a couple pizzas, but it's hot box. They don't give a shit. So the first one, so they just basically remake them, and usually the customers are like, "You, dude, I don't give a fuck. It's just pizza. You can't really fuck up a pizza too much unless you completely burn it."
If you completely burn it or not
But
cook it enough, but really.
yeah, exactly. But yeah, one of the pizzas, me and this other coworker of mine messed up. Because the guy asked for no onions on a supreme pizza. We accidentally put onions, so we put it back in the big cooler room that they have. So at the end of my shift, I asked the shift manager, go, hey, mind if I bake that and take it home? She goes, no, go ahead, go for it. I'm like, fuck yeah, free pizza.
Yeah, dude, that's a thing with the like fast food. Like if you mess up something, most of the time the people that are like your bosses or would just be like, "Oh, we'll just remake it and throw that out." So,
Yeah.
like I've worked at like sandwich places before that like have one told me like I'll ask to take food home, right? After something like that, I'll be like, "Hey, can I take this home?" And they're like, "If you pay for it." And I just go, "No." No. You're just like, "Well, it's just going to be waste then." It's like, "Yeah, exactly." So, can I take it home?
Yeah, I figured I had to pay for it, but you know,
Were you willing to?
because at the end, she didn't say I had to. I said, all right, walked out with the pizza. Because usually at the end of every day, anything that's left over that hasn't been baked or whatever, they just throw it out. Anyways, like the breadsticks. If there's still breadsticks in the shelf warmer sort of thing, if there's any left over that they didn't give out with other pizzas or nobody took them home, they just throw them in the trash. I'm like, dude, that's a waste of fucking breadsticks.
Yeah, that was my biggest pet peeve working in fast food most of the time is just how much waste there is. Not because they want to waste it, because they look at it like, all right, this is what we need to sell to make money, but because like literally if they don't waste it, then it's just going to spoil and not be good enough like product to sell to people. Like it's like the amount like of bread I've had to thrown out working at sandwich places because it just gets rock fucking hard because they just can't sell it in time is kind of astounding. But then again, nobody wants to be served rock hard bread. So like you can kind of understand it on one end. In fact, I think one of the biggest things that fast food people learn is like efficiency with like making things and serving them out. Because if you're just wasting all this stuff, that's worse. Like I've worked at stores before that like we've wasted too much stuff and our managers get mad at us and they're like, look, don't make 60 wheat bread because nobody eats wheat. Make 30 of that. All the old people will get it and make more Italian herbs and cheese. We obviously sell more than that. And we're just like, okay, man, we got it. All right, cool. Team meeting done.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, but what were we talking? Oh yeah, werewolves. What's to kind of get back on that topic because we kind of strayed off the bit. But what's your favorite werewolf movie like ever made?
Is this one solely based on the werewolf itself, or just any movie with a werewolf in it?
You know, like if there's two different answers because of those two reasons, then go ahead. Say the two different ones.
Either way, regardless, I'm gonna say Van Helsing.
Dude, the werewolf scene in that's amazing.
That werewolf, the whole transformation, the just design, look, everything is god tier. Whoever made that, the other companies that make werewolf movies need to know how he did it.
And Van Helsing is he hunts vampires. Like that's the original story, right?
Yeah, he's a monster hunter. He's like a holy man who, yeah, he essentially kills monsters for the church.
For the church, not for money. Boring.
No.
We got a holy man over here.
Yeah.
I've only seen that movie once, and I don't remember much about it except for that ending scene. But dude, I mean,
I've seen it like a million times.
I've probably God, I'm trying to think. What werewolf movie have I seen most? Well, I guess technically it would be the third Harry Potter because there's a werewolf in that, but...
Oh my god, don't even get me started on that one.
I don't get why you think it's like so bad. Like I get it, like it's not like a furry werewolf and it's kind of skinny looking, but the transformation scene is pretty good.
It looks like God fucked a dog and they had a baby.
Well, isn't that frightening? It's creepy to me.
It's more ugly than frightening.
Ugly can be scary.
Yeah, but no, literally, if I was walking through the woods in God knows where, and I see that fucking thing pop out, I'm gonna be scared because it's it's a werewolf. You're gonna be scared of a werewolf regardless. But I'm also gonna be like, because it's so ugly. I'm like, do you have mange? What is wrong with you?
I always
and some of the other werewolf movies, they're not completely covered head to toe in fur, but majority of them are, or they're like kind of like wisps of fur. Like they'll have like a little bit on their chest or like on their arms. I'm just, what the fuck?
Yeah, I think I do like it more when like the werewolf looks more like a dog than really like a creature. I have to agree with that. Like
because I noticed and I do like sometimes I do research on this stuff, like what are the different the werewolf pop culture, and I found a video that explains like all of them. But I basically just like mash it up into like just 3 or 4 because they have different ones. You got your humanoids, which are like your modern day Teen Wolf ones, where it's just there's no really big transformation. It's just their eyes glow. You get a little bit of facial features, pointy ears, claws, fangs. That's it.
Like Michael Jackson looking werewolves.
Yeah, kinda. But like I said, like a prime example of a humanoid is the new Teen Wolf with like Tyler Posey and all them.
I've only seen the first 2 seasons of Teen Wolf. I've never watched past that.
I watched it all. It's actually surprisingly good.
It's still going? Like, do they have new seasons still coming out?
No, but it's rumored that they're gonna make more. Like they stopped at, I think, season 6 or 7. I can't remember. Hang on.
You looking it up right now?
Yeah, because this shit eats me. 6 seasons, and then there was rumored to be a 7th, but this is like all of them like as adults, because from like season 1 to 5-ish, possibly 6, they're like in high school still.
Yeah, because they gotta be like, oh, they're 18.
Yeah, well, it's like the first season they're sophomores, and then they go.
Are they? I remember them being older than that.
Year. No, well, I mean, there's like a few of them that aren't. They're like part of the cast, but they're obviously way past high school because they're like actual adults. It's basically just like adults and kids in high school, and it's not just like them as werewolves either. It's like werewolves and a bunch of other mythical creatures. It's like really weird.
I will say the one thing I appreciated that show when I did watch it for like first 2 seasons was the storyline about like being an alpha of the pack. Like,
yeah,
it actually like added importance to like almost a society of werewolves, because you always see that in the vampire films, right? You always see like, oh, who's the head of this vampire family, like their father or their mother or whatever. But like in a werewolf movie, it's always like this lone crazy werewolf. But I really like the whole like pack storyline thing going on they had there for those first 2 seasons. Now I haven't seen past season 2, so obviously like I don't know if there's any developments that really change that.
I mean, I could go more in depth into like the whole hierarchy that their show has. And I agree with you. I like it. It kind of makes sense, but at the same time, there's also like I don't know. There's like power difference between different statuses of a werewolf in that show.
Oh, like almost like Dragon Ball Z. Like there's different levels.
Pretty much, yeah. Because like usually vampires, their hierarchy goes by who's either been first or who's basically like the oldest. Like they have seniority status. But with werewolves, it's more like power, strength, or just like cunning. You can be like you can be a weaker werewolf than like the guy who's challenging you, but you still kick his ass. You're still alpha. You may not be as strong as him, but you're faster and smarter.
So, like, yeah, like, there's more things that determined it other than just age. Because I know in every, like, you're right, vampire films, they do that thing all the time. They're like, he's an ancient vampire. You're just a new blood.
Yeah, Underworld's a big example. Underworld and Twilight are the biggest vampire franchises where you see that.
I just saw Queen of the Damned with my girlfriend. She actually had me watch that. If you've ever seen that movie,
No.
it's a vampire movie. I highly recommend you check it out. And to kind of give you the basic synopsis, it's this vampire wakes up from the dead and decides he's gonna reveal to the world that he's a vampire by being a rock star. But like the entire world thinks he's just fucking around trying to sell albums and stuff. But like he's legit revealing secrets, so like other vampires are trying to kill him. But like I don't know who really is the hero half the time in the film. Like I recommend it. My girlfriend put me on that and I really did like it. And if you're really into rock music, it has so much of that in it.
Oh, absolutely. You said it's called Queen of the Damned?
Queen of the Damned. And
Okay.
they do a whole thing on like the Age of Vampires thing, which I would say if there's anything I watch more of, like I've watched more like vampire films as you probably have watched more werewolf films.
Yeah.
I don't know. I love the Dracula Untold with Luke Evans.
Oh, that is so good.
That is my hands
I
down
don't care
my
what anybody says. That is so good.
It is good. I saw so many people get mad because it was historically inaccurate, and I'm like, no, duh. It's about the rumors. It's literally just a movie based off the rumors of him drinking blood. Like that's literally it.
The movie is basically based on the local of not Vlad the Impaler, but like actual like how he became Dracula. This of the devil or dragon.
Yeah, exactly. Like, and I thought that was so cool that they took that and played with it. At no point in the film was I like watching it because I'm a big history nerd. At no point was I like, this didn't happen. There ain't no way.
Yeah. Shit. Going back to one of our topics to go into the hierarchy of their whole werewolf status they have in Teen Wolf, or do you want me to go back to like the different kinds of werewolves?
I don't want things spoiled for me in Teen Wolf, so let's go to different kind of werewolves. I'm kind of curious more on that.
I'm not gonna spoil it. I'm just gonna like tell you like the different kinds of werewolf statuses that they have.
All right, tell me that, and then we'll go to the other type of werewolves.
So of course you have your alphas, and you can tell it because they always have red eyes in the show. And usually how you become an alpha is you have to kill one, or there is like this very, 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 very rare, yeah, it's like supposed to be OP in the show. It's called a true alpha, to where you become a beta becomes an alpha, not by killing an alpha and taking his power, but basically by I can't talk. Pure sheer willpower.
He just decides, I'm an alpha now.
Yeah, basically. It's through like
I am the alpha now.
You basically, it's basically sort of like having like a pure heart and courage and the strength to overcome your limits, sort of thing. So it's basically like
eat people's hearts. Thing.
It's basically similar to how Goku became a Super Saiyan.
Just he was like, I'm gonna do it.
He's like, you're pissing me off. I'm gonna win no matter what.
I'm sorry, like, I know you're gonna hate me for this opinion, but I always feel like that's kind of plot armor. But hey, go for it, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, he's about to lose? Well, guess what? With my pure heart.
And there's also a thing with, like, alphas I noticed in the Teen Wolf show. It's also kind of like how, with vampires in Twilight, how some of them can have, like, different kind of abilities. But with a werewolf, it's very limited.
What? Like in Twilight, they have different abilities? I don't remember that.
Yeah. Because
what abilities did they have differently?
All the ones I can remember are most of them from the Cullen family. Because like Edward can read.
Oh, you're talking about vampires. I thought you were talking about werewolves.
I was about the Teen Wolf ones.
Oh, the Teen Wolf one have? Okay,
yeah,
I see.
It's just the alphas that mostly.
Okay, I got that mixed around. I thought you were saying the werewolves in Twilight got different powers, and I'm like, I thought they all just turned to big dogs.
Yeah, huge wolves. I'll get to that type later. Okay, so yeah, you got your alphas and your true alpha, which is like off to the side, supposed to be OP. Then you got your beta, which is basically like when you're bitten by an alpha, you're his beta. It's just like your common everyday beta, and you can tell that they're betas because they have yellow eyes, unless they murder an innocent person. Then their eyes turn blue.
Really? Like what?
I don't know. It's just a weird thing. Like
Yeah,
if you're a
blue.
beta and you kill someone who's
Blue is bad.
very innocent, it's blue. Your eyes turn like very bright blue. And then, of course, you got your omegas, which they're still betas, but they're like the pussies. They're like basically, if you're not bitten by an alpha, but you join his pack as a beta, you're the omega, you're the bitch.
Oh, so
Yeah.
like if they lost their alpha,
Yeah,
or
they
something.
would if they join another pack after like they left or their alpha died and their alpha accepts them, since he didn't bite that beta, but he joined, he's basically the
Man, that's
gets
gotta
treated
suck.
differently.
Your leader fucking gets his ass clapped, and now you gotta be the Omega for this pack.
Yeah.
That's so bullshit. Like, bro, like I didn't decide who bit me. Like, they just kind of were like, "Hey,
Omega." It's either that or like, yeah, Omegas are basically ones that like are without a pack. Some of them usually end up like alone, like they'll be strays.
Are there any Sigma werewolves?
Nope, just just those three.
Like, have you seen those Sigma male TikToks? Dude, those are.
So. I don't even know what's a Sigma male.
I barely understand what a Sigma male is, but like I remember all the time that it was two guys always going like, you're either an alpha, you're a beta, and there's no in between. And I was like, or you could just not give a shit and be happy. And then some dude came in, was like, I'm a Sigma, I be making them business deals or some shit. And I'm just like, okay. What is this? I don't know.
Okay, I just typed it on Urban Dictionary. Sigma males play by their own rules, no one else's, not even their own. So you're basically like an outlaw, outcast sort of
That's
thing.
The alpha that does it by sheer will. He's a Sigma. He's a Sigma werewolf.
Okay. Yeah. And there's also like different kinds of mythical creatures in that show that I've never heard of. I'm pretty sure some of them they just pulled out of their ass. Like
there's a lot of
coyote.
I've heard of werebears.
I've definitely heard of werebears. There's one I didn't hear about till I watched it, and I found out it's like an actual thing. It's called a kenema.
What's in it? What's that?
It's like, well, a lot of shape-shifting creatures. They're kind of like different species of like the lycanthropy thing, because lycanthropy in itself is like a whole thing. And the most basic form of it is werewolves, and there's also like little sub-branches where it's like werebears, were-jaguars, were-coyotes, were-hyenas, were-whatever.
Were-karens. The list can go on.
Yeah, apparently a kenema is kind of like a man can turn into a lizard sort of thing.
Bro, I'd be a lizard. I'd be a fucking dragon.
He's like a were-reptile, essentially.
Bro, I'd be a dragon. Totally be a dragon.
You like dragons?
Dude, I play Skyrim. Of course I like dragons.
You like dragons? Nuts across your face.
Oh, God.
You walked.
I walked
right into that one.
I did walk in that one.
Okay.
On my own podcast, too. You're no longer invited onto the podcast. You can leave.
Went out with a bang, though.
I'm kidding. You can stay. But if you ever say that again, I swear I will do absolutely nothing.
Okay.
But
that was the werewolf hierarchy of Teen Wolf in itself.
You should. I'm telling you, man. Like, I will never watch you play because I would rather chew steel than watch anyone that isn't experienced playing Skyrim play Skyrim. But you gotta play it because you can be a werewolf in it. You'd love it.
No.
Just look up some gameplay stuff. Like, you literally can change and like scream at people. Like, oh, did they add that? Oh yeah, they did. I think there are mods for it, but you can literally like tear people's hearts, like eat them to level up your werewolf and stuff. But there you can counter werebears in the game. Like, man, you got to try it because if you love werewolf movies, then that's the game for you to give a shot. Now, the storyline to become a werewolf is really dumb and boring, but hey, you get to be a werewolf.
Yeah.
And
sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say, what are the other types of werewolves? Because we haven't even covered, I think, 2 of them, which I'm expecting.
Because I talk about humanoid werewolves, and then we got a teen wolf, and then straight from the path. I'm like, God damn it, this always happens.
So is one of the types gonna be like the types from like Twilight, where they're like a dog?
Yes.
Okay. Are there any other movies with that type other than Twilight? Because Twilight's the only one that I can think of that is that.
There's like a very kind of low budget one. It's called Blood and Chocolate.
I love low budget movies, and that sounds so stupid. Go on.
There's a couple shows I know about that have like something similar. One is called Wolf Blood. It's like a British teen show about that. And the other one is True Blood.
True Blood. Isn't that like a professional TV show? Isn't there a lot of money with that?
I think so, yeah.
Is that a vampire one, though?
It's a vampire and werewolf.
Okay, cool.
Oh, Vampire Diaries. That's another one that has something similar, yeah.
I always hear good things about Vampire Diaries. My girlfriend loves that show and she always wants to watch it with me, so maybe I should give it a shot.
Yeah. Okay.
She was doing that stupid shit. Sorry to go off topic, but I just want to mention this. But she was doing that stupid shit. It's so cute, but I hate it. Where she's like, you remind me of this person. I'm like, oh, cool. Watch the show. The person is like awful for the first few seasons, and then she goes like, he gets better. He gets better. I promise, he gets better. It's like, why do I remind you of this person? Anyway, go on. I always like to mention that because I think it's the funniest thing that girls do.
Okay. This isn't really much of like a very popular type, but it's also in a few movies. I like to call it the man wolf form. It's basically like, your wolf man sort of thing where it's basically you have a normal guy, but he's covered in fur. And he doesn't really have that elongated snout. He just has the nose, a little more facial features, and like fangs and claws. But basically, completely covered head to toe in hair. He can still like run on 4 legs and everything, but he can't talk.
Just a really, really hairy man.
Basically, it's basically like to put it in perspective, it's basically like a bulldog of werewolves.
Oh,
does that help?
No, that helps a lot actually. Now that I'm thinking about it.
No snout, just a normal human face. It's very smooth.
Did I don't understand how those dogs are dogs.
a lot of breeding.
It looks like someone just took their face and just went.
It literally looks like they tried to It literally like they tried to recreate a scene from an old cartoon where the dog or the person or thing runs into the wall and their face is like flat. except they did that and it's stuck like that and like.
Hey, I love those dogs. Those dogs are adorable, but they're just funny looking to me. They're cute.
Yeah.
My like that's the dog from Men in Black, right? The one that talks.
The pug, yeah, Frank.
Oh my god. Frank is awesome. I love that scene where he's singing out the window. Right out the door. Frank!
Yeah.
That's me every... That's me and you every car ride, I swear to God.
Yeah.
Hey, can I get on the aux? Okay, but no singing. Starts playing heavy metal rock. Dun dun dun.
Or start playing some pure crackhead shit. You're like, shut up.
So what's the worst werewolf movie you have ever seen? Like hands down the worst, and we will be watching and reviewing it on this podcast at some point.
Okay, I thought it was this one I watched on Sci-Fi years ago called Hybrid, because the dude is not a werewolf. He just basically the whole plot to kind of ruin it. He has like an accident that's similar to Daredevil's, to where he's blind, except instead of getting like superhuman senses, well, he gets them eventually. But he basically gets an eyeball transplant, but instead of normal human eyes, it's wolf eyes.
So he's not really a werewolf.
So he start. No, he basically acts like one. It's basically like it's not like psychological lycanthropy or clinical lycanthropy, where the person only thinks they're a werewolf because they're like crazy in the head. No, this dude is like, he's acting like a werewolf because the wolf eyes he got are implanted into the brain, so he's still getting like those sort of like primal instincts and emotions to do this certain thing.
That sounds somewhat interesting. What's so bad about it?
I don't know. I thought it was gonna be like a werewolf movie, but it's not. It's still a decent. It's all right.
It turned into a mental health movie, and I wasn't about it.
Damn near. And then there's another one called Battle Dogs. Holy shit, that is very low budget. Think of like I Am Legend sort of deal, except without Will Smith, without a good story, and instead of like those zombie vampire things.
Such a good movie.
Instead of like those zombie vampire things, it's just really fucked up looking werewolves.
See, I wouldn't call those things from that movie like vampire zombies. I would call them like a branch of zombies that I think people refer to as infected, because like they don't really look like I guess you could say. Actually, hold on. Now I'm thinking about it. I think you're right. That starting to makes a lot more sense because they can't go out in sunlight. So maybe you're on to something. I don't know. I fucking love that movie.
Yeah, it's a really great movie. But the Battle Dogs one, terrible. I haven't watched it. All I saw was the werewolf, and I'm like, yeah, I'm not watching that.
Dude, low budget movies are a gem. They're gems, dude.
No, okay, so no. You remember one of the ones I told you about that I just watched on Peacock? That one takes the fucking cake. Oh my god,
what's it called?
Terrible.
What's it called?
It's called I Am Lisa.
All right. Next podcast, I'm going to watch that, and you can rewatch it. We're going to review it, all right?
It is so bad. It is a very low budget, very poorly plot written. Literally just... I hate it. It's like an indie movie.
Dude, poorly budgeted movies are like my cup of tea, just because I love watching how bad they are. The only time I get angry at when a movie's really bad is if it's budgeted very well. You know what I mean? It's like you had all this money and you just made shit. Like, you know what I mean?
You fucked up royally.
It's like you got all this money from these big companies, and now you even got my money to come see it in the theater because it's made by these big production companies, and I hated the movie. So what the heck? But like, if you make something like Tire, I can watch it after a couple beers with friends and not care how bad. Or even better, Sharknado, where a shark will land on a roller coaster and go down the roller coaster and eat someone while on it, all CGI'd in. And I could just be like, that's so stupid because it's so obviously bad on purpose.
One, it's just bad in general.
That's a genre that we should talk about someday, is shark movies. There's a million shark movies out there.
Yeah.
God. But
okay. Yeah, okay. Oh, the next kind of werewolves you see in pop culture are more like the very, very popular, commonly used one. Those are the lichens.
What are those? Just werewolves?
Yeah, these are your werewolves, but like the video I watched explained all the different types. He kind of used like a different word sort of thing, but it was very close to it. It's basically likened to where majority of the form is wolf-like, very wolf-like. It looks a lot like a wolf, but it still stands on two legs.
Okay, look up Skyrim werewolf and tell me if it looks like that.
Yes.
See, like those are the type of werewolves I think are the best.
Those are the ones that are very commonly used in werewolf movies. Like they're a good example. Like Hugh Jackman's Van Helsing werewolf. That's a lichen. Underworld. That's a lichen.
I always have a hard time getting into Underworld. I always get very confused by like the second movie, and then I'm just like, I just can't.
I kind of did, but once you watch them like all back to back, the story makes a little bit more sense.
Yeah, I guess I really shouldn't make that criticism because like I watch like Lord of the Rings, Star Wars, Harry Potter, all the Marvel movies back to back to back, and I never watch them really separately, you know?
Yeah. Well, one of the Underworld movies is like a backstory.
A backstory of a backstory on the rock that hit the man in the face.
No, it's more of like a backstory on why the vampires and werewolves are fighting.
It's that one we tried watching together, right? But I had to do something. Is it like
Yeah.
it took place in the medieval ages?
Yeah, it was Underworld Rise of the Lycans.
I just remember the one scene where like someone becomes like a half vampire, half werewolf, half like
Hybrid, yeah.
and
I think that happens in the first one.
oh shit, I just hit the mic. Sorry about that. Probably destroyed
You're
your
good.
ears.
No.
But yeah, I would have to
Sorry.
agree. Probably the best werewolf is the Lycan, and the one from Van Helsing is just top tier.
Yeah. Like that's one that's used a lot.
Well, I mean, like it's just it makes the most sense because like if you're just a wolf and that's all you change into, then I'm just gonna treat you like a regular wolf. But like what's scary is that you're like a formulation between both man and wolf. Like that's
These are your ones that are going to be really big, brawny, huge, and scary as hell.
yeah. Like they look like they can tear your heart out or something.
Yeah, like these are the ones that where like it's like the top half is wolf, the bottom half is still like kind of human like because you still have like they're still standing on two legs and using their hands to kill you. But yeah, this is like most of their body is completely covered in fur. They have elongated snout. Their head is supposed to be wolf-like, very much. You're basically like the head is just a wolf. Yeah, long ears, long snout, claws, fangs, holding sometimes a tail. Sometimes a tail. Varies on the movie.
Okay, which werewolf on average is most powerful then?
Most
Because
powerful?
yeah, like they're all different, but like what werewolf type would you say is gonna win in a fight most of the time?
I'd say as far as capability wise, it'd be the lichen.
Yeah, I would have to agree. It seems like
Yeah.
it has everything.
Yeah.
The fact it
Which there's-
can go on.
I was gonna say there are two more types still that
Oh, really? God, I thought we go on, please.
No. Okay, so after lichen, you get ones they're still basically like that, but they're mostly on all fours, but they still look gross. They're like they're mostly on their all fours, but they're not like they don't look like a wolf completely. Like if I had
What are
to put
those
it
called?
I I don't really know what to call them.
Lichen bee.
Basically beta.
Lichen beta. So like they kind of look like a chupacabra almost.
Sorta. Like, if you go on Google and look up battle dogs werewolf, they'll look like that. Or no, a good example would be American Werewolf in London. That one,
All right, I'm
because
gonna look this up.
he's not completely looks like wolf 100%. It looks more like 80%, kinda. He's not like full 100% a wolf. He could still use his front hand, paw, whatever. But he mostly like walks on all fours. He can still use them for fighting or whatever, or grabbing something, but he mostly just like walks on all fours. That's the only like difference between Lycan and then the last one. But like the big three, yeah. But the big three used are like the humanoid, the Lycan, and then the very last one, which I call Canid.
Called what?
Canid.
Canid. Why?
Oh, that was the name. Okay, hang on. I was going back to the one before. I heard call it lupine because it means wolf-like. It's not 100% a wolf. It's wolf-like. It's more wolf-like.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Because liken's supposed to be half and half completely.
Okay, yeah, no, I see what you mean now. I see what you mean. I was a
like,
little bit confused.
So yeah, like lupine's kind of more like 75 to 80% wolf. Canid is 100% the dude transforms from a human to an actual wolf.
Which to me, that's just kind of boring in any like werewolf film, personally.
Depends on it. I still kind of like it. Depends on like the story and everything.
It depends, because if it's like
it very depends.
Like if it's like kind of like Nightwolf, right? And now he has like the little silhouette thing or whatever. If he's like using that to like track people and stuff like that, that's different. Like, because in like that kind of movie or situation, like it applies, right?
Yeah.
Like he just uses it for the abilities. Like, no, what I'm thinking of, I'm thinking of like more like Assassin's Creed 3 in the DLC. You can actually like change into a wolf and a pack of wolves to like hide from like camouflage and shit. So like that's what I'm thinking of, but like it applies that. But you can also be an eagle and a bear and all this shit. Like it's a really dope game. You should play it.
We'll
but no, I think you'd like it because it has a whole storyline about how like you're basically helping America free itself from Britain, but you're Native American.
I was about to ask if that one was about the Revolutionary War.
Yes, it is. It is. But like you're a Native American who's, it's kind of weird that right, like
an Englishman. Yeah,
like you're half and half. So like you're playing this perspective where you're helping America kind of free themselves from Britain, but you're a minority, and it's just kind of weird to like hear all these men be like, "Oh, we got to set ourselves free," and then you're the one dude in the room being like, "Yeah, but you have slaves." Like, so and then they're like, "We'll get to it," and he's just like, whatever, man."
But yeah, key examples of movies that use like the canid wolf form are definitely like Twilight, because well, they're giant wolves. I actually kind of like those ones because it also kind of ties into. Yeah, they're huge because well, they got to take on vampires, and if you're just the size of a normal wolf, I don't think you can really kill a vampire by yourself.
To be honest, like I don't want to stir any nests, but I was Team Jacob personally.
Bro, same. It's like, man, fuck Edward, he toxic.
I remember when I first watched it, like of course the acting was bad from everyone except for her dad.
My God, yeah.
And it got better. I'll say that. It got better. All right.
It did.
And I watched all these back to back when I was bored out of my mind on a trip once. So I thought, I hate these movies. I never really watched them. So I should be sure I actually hate them for good reason. And I just remember the whole time I was like, man, Edward's kind of creepy. Like,
that's what I'm saying.
Like Jacob has been her friend since like childhood. He's got that long flowy hair going,
Not anymore.
Yeah, not anymore. But even when like he didn't, he could change to a big wolf. Free pets, like that's like any
free pets, and basically like let's say we got thrown into the Twilight universe and like one of us became like a werewolf, like part of the tribe and everything like that, and you could have that ability, bro. If you go on a date, be like, how are we gonna get there? Hop on my back.
No, if I had a
werewolf the size of a bear.
Now, bro, if I had a super ability and I had to go on dates with and I had to pick it, I would choose flying. So just in case if the date was bad, I could be like, you know what? I'm not taking you home. And instead of driving, I just fly away.
You go to a different country, like, you know what?
You know what? You're very rude. I just remember watching Dane Cook tell a joke where he's like, I would shoot spaghetti on my fingertips so I could cover in spaghetti. And I'm just like, no, that's too much of a mess. I just would want to fly away.
But yeah.
All right, bro, but like
that and like that.
Go on.
Oh, well, like what I like about the Twilight one, those werewolves, it's like it actually derives from actual Native American belief, like that tribe, the Quilete tribe. I think I'm saying that right. Which is actually in Washington near the coast. They actually believed that their ancestors descended from wolves, so I like how they put that into there. and then there's also like it's sort of like an actual tribal belief and everything turned into an actual movie, or at least part of it. And then there's that British teen show I mentioned earlier called Wolf Blood, where like these people can actually turn into wolves, but it's like they're people. It's like how they descend instead of like people believing they descended from apes, they actually descended from wolves, and they're still able to turn to them because it's like in their nature to
Isn't there a
their
thing
DNA.
called like skinwalkers that derives from specific like Native American tribes? Is that like where that
Yes.
comes from?
Yes, it's very similar. It's like it's kind of similar to how the Vikings belief as a berserker, like basically most berserkers would wear like animal skins, like bears, wolves, and different kinds of animals, stuff like that, but mostly bears and wolves, because like when they went off to battle, they put those pelts on. They believe that they could turn into them, and then their enemies would say like, "Oh man, you have no idea. He fought like that animal. Like the skin he was wearing, he became the animal." So like skinwalkers kind of like similar to that. It's either they're cursed, they go through this sort of ritual and become one, or it's like that they wear the belt and they turn into it.
I remember watching this one werewolf movie once. I got it from Redbox, and I should never have gotten it from Redbox. I should have waited till it was on Netflix a month later. But I thought, hey, screw it, whatever. Like I was on a Western binge, and it was a Western werewolf movie, and there was only one scene in it that like I kind of liked, but the costume was bad. The like everything was bad. It was just a poor budget movie. Whatever. I enjoyed it to a degree, but there were so many moments where I'm like, this is so stupid. Except that there was this ending scene where, like, to this point, this lawman was trying to figure out like who the werewolf was, because it was like a mystery, right? And up until this point, he's been like hanging out with this like Native American woman who's like kind of like a shaman or whatever, and she's like giving him medicines, all that, like being helpful advice. And the like whole time, like she was trying to help him solve the mystery, and she was like, "Well, there was this thing called skinwalkers in back in the day for my tribe and stuff, but it's really not really believed anymore." And at the whole time, I'm just like, something's kind of sus about this girl, because I'm not exactly sure that that's like a real thing they pulled from. And at the end, he's like talking to her, and he's all bandaged up. And she's like, "I have something to reveal to you," and she starts changing, and I'm like, "Fucking called it!" Like, and then
that's like the Red Riding Hood movie where you find out her. I don't know if I should spoil it.
Which one? Like the kid show one, the kids one?
No.
Because that's a good Hoodwinked is amazing. All right.
I'm not talking about Hoodwinks. I'm talking about the movie. It's for like teenagers. It's called Red Riding Hood. It's got fuck. What's her name?
Is it like an adult take on it?
Yes. It's definitely like a werewolf mystery thriller horror kind of thing. Not really.
Oh, okay.
No, it's like mystery thriller. It's about like this small town. They try to find out who the big bad wolf is, sort of thing. Yeah.
Nah, that movie I was watching was so stupid. There's only one scene I remember other than that, was like they like go to this abandoned town in the mountains, and they go in the saloon, and then they turn around, and then the guy in a suit that they picked up along the way is getting dragged on the ground by an obviously robotic controlled like arm, and it's pulling him, and like there's all this blood like overtly spurging out, and I'm just like, this is so stupid, but I love it. It's just so obvious that the guy who's holding the arm is like struggling to pull it,
Yeah.
Dude, I fucking love bad budget movies to a degree. I'm trying to think of what the name of it is, but the only scene I liked was at the end one, even though it was so obvious.
Hang on. I'll try to find it.
But Hoodwinked was a great show. It was not a great show. It was a great movie. Love that movie.
My God. Yeah. There's a pretty decent werewolf movie that I like. It came out in, I think, 2014 or 16. The title of it's just literally called Wolf. That's it.
Just Wolf?
Wolves. No, it's Wolves Wolf is the one with Jack Nicholson.
I don't think I've seen that. Or did you show me that one? You showed me someone with Guillermo del Toro, right?
Wait, Del Toro. Oh, that's the Wolf Man.
Ah, I thought that one was pretty good. That one was pretty good.
Wolves is Wolves is with the guy who played Havoc in X-Men First Class. It also has Jason Momoa in it.
Oh. Is that one like a comedy though? Didn't you say that?
What is?
The one we're talking about. But like, isn't there a funny scene in it? Remember you telling me something about that.
There's a couple. There's a couple. I mean, the story's like decent. The werewolf transformation is actually pretty freaking. It's pretty deep. I like it. It's pretty good. It's like a good Basically, if I had a rate on a scale of 1 to 10, I'd probably say it's about a 6.
A 6?
Like it's enjoyable. It's enjoyable. It's not great, but it's enjoyable.
Like 6s for me are like I didn't enjoy it that much, but like it's like everything above average that like I can say like it's good. Like I didn't hate watching it, but like it was like above
basically.
Average. If you get a 5, it's like literally like it got no feeling out of me. Like
yeah. Basically, the movie Wolves. It's 6.5 for me. You know, it's good. It's watchable. I'll watch it.
Okay,
was
so
the Western. Sorry.
Say what you're gonna say.
Was the Western werewolf movie you're talking about called Blood Moon or High Moon?
I think Blood Moon. Maybe.
Is it on YouTube, right?
Probably. It's one of those low budget things.
Yeah. There's one for a movie called High Moon in 2020.
No, it definitely is not that one because I saw this way before I was even in college.
So I'm looking at the trailer right now. This looks like very kind of
all right. What'd you give Van Helsing rating in terms of a werewolf movie?
Just for itself, or just as a werewolf?
Okay, how about just the movie as a whole? Like, what would you give it as a rating?
About 8 or.
I would say an 8.
9. Okay.
You say 9? I would give it an 8. Just because I'll
say about 8.5 since I can't pick between. I'll say 8.5 out of 10.
No, we don't do halves here.
Fuck you, I do.
You won't be breaking my rules here. That ain't fair.
Breaking the law. Yeah.
What
But for the werewolf design in Van Helsing in itself, 10 out of 10. That is a fucking werewolf, my friend.
Flawless, just straight up flawless. But I think we're getting close on time. We're nearly run an hour. I've enjoyed talking to you, Trevor. That's for sure. But we're gonna go ahead and kind of finish it. Oh, thanks, bud. Maybe we'll do this again next week, same time. You know?
Yeah.
Hopefully, we won't have as many audio issues as I'm probably gonna have, but I think we'll be fine. This is definitely work in progress, considering we are doing this from miles upon miles away from each other and stuff like that. Maybe I'll even put this on the stream and then I'll just upload. I don't know what I'm gonna do. This is all new. Well, I'm hearing a voice in my head, so
do
must. But I really don't know how to end this other than thank you for stopping by, Trevor. Would you like to say any closing remarks before we end the podcast today?
Watch werewolf movies. Hate it or love it. Watch the movie. If you don't like werewolf looks, you will understand the whole point of this podcast.
God. Half like a part of that cut out, but it makes it extra funny.
Shit.
But
I'll say it again.
Nope, we're good. We're good. What was I getting at? I'm not really good at closes. Actually, I'm not good at intros. But regardless, thank you guys for listening to the podcast today. I'm hoping to make this maybe a weekly, bi-weekly thing. I'll kind of see what my scheduling is. I might have Trevor on again next week or 2 weeks from now. I don't know. I'm kind of thinking that I should watch that Lisa movie and then we should get on here and talk about it. How about this? We'll watch that Lisa movie and then we'll watch another movie too, and then we'll talk about both those movies. So, like, we'll figure that out. We'll figure out something. But this was fun, and I want to do it again for sure. Maybe we can even get some more people on. We could even get someone that doesn't know anything about the movies we watched and just see them try to have a conversation with us.
Get your girlfriend on.
No, she'll just be like, "Well, I watched Get Up." Or Step Up, and I thought it was a werewolf movie. Well, it's a great movie, is what she would say. She loves those those dance movies, dude, and I don't blame her. They're awesome.
My sister.
Yeah, but thanks for listening, guys. Hope to hear from you in the next see you here. We don't really see anything. Hope you guys stop by for the next podcast. Thank you, Trevor, for coming on and talking to me, and be sure to like the video, subscribe, and come back in the future for some more content. See you guys.